Hey, my friends, we are live. Welcome to the channel. Brian the Divine Healer here with you, deciding to bring back something that I kind of haven't done in a minute. It's the life coaching, right? So, as you've seen in the title, why do we keep putting ourselves in the box, right? And how the heck do we get out? All right, well, check this out, right? It's real simple. Okay, I'm going to break down some strategies. I'm going to break down the reason whys, the overcomes, and hopefully some great tips for you to really see a little differently to stay out of them boxes. Okay. And it's going to be a little bit. So just get your snacks, get your drinks, because we're just going to keep going. Right. All right. So, like I said, I'm bringing it back. I haven't done it in a minute, but I felt I needed to. Okay. I was really crazy meditation session earlier. And so I wanted to just kind of bring that energy to you. Okay. So obviously I'm comfortable. I'm relaxed. You see my posture now that you can feel the same way. Keep it relaxed. Okay. So what do I mean about putting ourselves in a box? Okay. And I mean, that's just basically conforming. Okay. Why are we conforming? Right. Why are we going along with other people? Right. Why do we feel that we have to do what others do? Right. Why are we sheep? Basically, right? Following the herd, following the crowd, right? So, with that being said, the main reason why is because a lot of people they don't even know who they are. Like it's a major identity crisis. Okay, it really is, and a lot of times when you don't know who you are, then it's hard to find your way, and it's real easy to follow along. Okay, real easy. Okay, and so when we grow up, we do get put into these boxes. We go to school. There's certain rules and regulations you got to follow in school, and everybody's got to sit at the desk that's all the same. And when you join the military, now you're all kind of dress right dress. You're all the same. So we get put into these boxes um as a whole, kind of on purpose, right? Because that's just got to be like the civil way of following things, right? But when I mean the box, I mean not society's way, but your way, okay? You put yourself in a box because you don't know who yourself is. So a lot of people struggle because they don't know what they want in their lives, right? A lot of times, you know, um, we see somebody and we like their style, right? So we try to copy along with that, catch a little bit here, catch a little bit there. Excuse me one second while I turn this do not disturb on here because it's going to blast me the whole damn time. Right? Yeah. Hey, that's all right. Right. So sorry about that. So a lot of it is because the self identity crisis, right? We don't know who we are. A lot of it is we don't know what we want to do. So you get stuck. And I know how that feels because I used to feel the same way, but this was a long, long time ago when I was younger, okay? And for me it was maybe like a self-conscious thing, right? It was like a self-esteem issue. Okay, because I couldn't find my place. I didn't know exactly where I was going in life, who I wanted to be, right? So I kind of developed this strategy, and I'm going to share that with you so then you understand how you all see me not in a friggin' box. You can't put me in a box, right? Because I am the box. And that's the strategy, my friend. Okay. That's the trick that I used, right? All through high school because, I was the awkward kid because, obviously I'm attractive, educated, all that other stuff. Coming from a different state to a new state, as a new kid, he's got a different accent. It's crazy, right? All this stuff. So that naturally had a draw that made me shy, made me uncomfortable because for one, I wasn't ready for all that kind of attention. And for two, I didn't know what to do with it. Okay. So then I started looking at it probably about my sophomore year in high school and was like, why is everybody coming to want to be around me? Why is it just random that people just want to come and talk to me? Okay. And click with me. And then I realized because there's something with me that is drawing these people in. That's when I realized I was the box. Okay. I was the box. People wanted to come into my box. All right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So my strategy was to think big like that. So then I became friends with the jocks, and then I became friends with the skateboarders, and I became friends, with the mean girls, because I sat at lunch the whole 4 years with girls, right? Because they were my best friends. Not saying that it's weird or anything, but that's just how it happened, right? So when I seen that idea of how I can become that attention because it was already happening naturally, I accepted it. I had to accept it and realize that there was something different about me that was drawing these people in. So that made me think I was that box. Okay. So then from then on, I never had a self esteem issue to think that I couldn't, you know, talk to people or, you know, uh, join a certain group or, things like that. Right. So that was my strategy, just to think I'm the boss, I'm the box, I'm the one, me, 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 me. But it wasn't on an ego sense. Okay. So we just clarify that there's no ego with that. Right. Because I wasn't looking for people to come be my friend. They just naturally were. I mean, including the teachers, right? And it just progressed so far along into my adulthood that it's amazing, right? You could call it the law of attraction, whatever you want, but that's really where I took that idea, okay? And that's how I was able to build my strength of my subconsciousness and my self-identity, okay? I mean, I clearly know who I am. Right? It takes us a little bit to understand where our purpose is and what we got to do in life, but those all fall in line when they're supposed to. Okay. It's kind of like some children, they're a little bit, behind the curve developmentally, fine motor skills, speech, whatever. And they talk late, they walk late. You know what I mean? Not me. I was talking and walking like 9 months up and at 'em, right? So some people are not going to be able to recognize this attention, right? So they're not going to know that they're the box, right? So another way to see out of that is to look in your own box. Okay. Why am I feeling shy? Why am I feeling subconscious, like nervous, anxiety, all these things? But when you look at this approach, you have to do it unemotionally, because 99 chances that is going to be what is putting you in that box. So you have to think logically of what is going on, why are you feeling this way, and then after that, your answer is going to come right to you. Okay, but you have to take that clear, logical approach, right? So when you say, I'm going to a party, and then you're all dressed up looking good, and then you go to the party, and all of a sudden you feel nervous because there's other people there that are dressed well, right? They got their shit together, da 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 da. So now you feel less than, but before you were feeling better than. So that would tie you up, put you in that box. So then therefore you wouldn't be talking to hardly anybody at this party, even though you're all kind of there for the same reasons, whatever, right? Then you're intentionally, subconsciously, I should say, putting yourself in that box. Prep talks. Prep talks. You tell yourself certain things. I am good enough. Now, these are what we call affirmations, right? Affirmations are huge. This is definitely part of the law of attraction and manifestations, right? So when you get dressed and you're saying to yourself, look at me, I'm looking good, I'm ready to go to this party, right? You're not mentally putting yourself in the box because you're preparing yourself emotionally, if that makes any sense. Okay. So then when you get to that party and you have that freeze moment, go back to the time before you were at the party, like when you were getting ready. Pull yourself back in that moment. And when you pull yourself back in that moment, when you're prepping yourself to get ready to go to that party and you're talking yourself up, look at you, look good, you wear a tie, oh my God, ooh, right? All the things that we do to get ready. But then when we're ready, it's like we cave. Now we're in the box. So if you pull yourself in that moment back to the time before that moment, you're going to draw that energy. That energy was the positivity of you getting dressed, ready to go, talking yourself in to go to this party. So then when you get to this moment of freezing, it's like now your emotions are kicking in because your logic is all over the place with the anxiety. So if you can pull yourself back, it's kind of compartmentalizing. So if you pull yourself back a couple file cabinets and you pull out that file that was written, prepped, ready for the party, pre-party, then now you could take those emotions of how you felt as you were getting ready for the party and you pull those into the moment where you're at the party about to freeze up, throw yourself in that box. Missing out on all kinds of opportunities, friends, co-workers, collaborations and things because you nutted up, you froze up, and you're putting yourself in that box. So that's another strategy on how to get yourself out of the box. That's my favorite technique, is going back to the moment before the moment. But it's logical. You have to use your mind, okay? A lot of us, our minds are so clogged, we can't even think of what happened 2 seconds ago. That's why, like, people's attention spans are like, I think, less than 8 seconds. Like, I don't know about not being able to pay attention for 8 seconds. But now we're going to call that, what, ADHD and shit? That's stupid. Let's just figure that out a little bit better. But, that all plays into putting you in a box, right? And so there are many boxes that we have to try to avoid, because those boxes are really traps. And those traps are going to be the things that's going to hold you back in life. Okay. Anxiety, fear, inadequacy, self-esteem. We got a list of things. I could have got my chalkboard. We could have just sat here and wrote all that stuff out. Right. But you already know all that stuff. So I don't need to go and present that to you. Right. I'm just touching the bases on the things as a life coach would do to break down this assessment for you to really see the key points. First, analyzing what is the issue. Second of all, let's get a strategy to work this out. Thirdly, we're going to have a little bit of reinforcement here. So now that's going to be the next topic we're going to talk about, is that reinforcement. Okay, because I just gave you a couple strategies of figuring out what was the problem and how to get yourself out of it, right? So now to keep that idea, so the next time you're ready for a party, you've already done the prep talk, you've already known how to do the mental assessment to pull yourself back into the moment before you nutted up on the party, right? So now we're going to talk about the second party you're going to go to. These are all examples. You'll have those preparatory commands, basically is what they are, in your back pocket. So now the second party you're going to eliminate that first box that you had at the first party, which was, froze up. I'm looking nice, but now everybody's maybe looking better than me. So now I'm going to get into my self-consciousness, right? Losing your identity, throwing yourself in the box, right? So the reinforcement of that is not comparing. It's remembering the steps of pulling yourself from one moment to another, but it's taking another fresh look at yourself, right? Maybe just swing by a mirror, check yourself out, look down, see if your stuff's straight, lined up, whatever, right? You need the visualization. Okay, because we were talking about the emotional part. That was trapping us. We had to use our logic to pull us out. Now we need something to help us keep us in focus. And that's going to be the visualization. So you need something like to look at physically to remind you of these steps that you work to avoid this disaster at the party that you first went to, right? Right. So some people, the visualization is kind of like mantras, right? Affirmations. I'm good, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, I'm wise. That's great. But there are other mantras there with different levels. Because if you're just saying I am all the time, we're going to be stuck in your lower chakras. You're not going to get to the higher one. So, abundance is always near me. I attract wealth easily. Those are different levels of mantras that you're actually saying to yourself to what? Reinforce, preparatory command, your manifestations, your law of attractions. right? So this reinforcement is a visual. Check yourself out. Find something that you know, um, probably could easily use, which is going back to the first steps before the party. You're looking in the mirror, you're shaving, ladies, you're doing your nails and all this other stuff, right? So you're when you're getting yourself in the best part of yourself, which is getting ready, right? There's certain like emotions that go with that logic, right? Because you're physically doing things to enhance yourself, right? But there's emotions behind that. You start feeling good about yourself because now you look really good in a friggin' suit and tie. Ladies, you're wearing the high heels and the nice sundress, whatever. There's feelings that go with those. Okay. So if you don't have that visual, you still do because all you have to do revert in your brain back to when you were getting ready and seeing yourself, like looking in that mirror. Oh, I do look good. Everybody else here does look good too, but I'm not in a competition because you were in a certain emotion as you were getting ready. So if you can pull yourself in that emotion during the visualization, that is your reinforcement. That's what's going to hold you steady to keep you from falling back into those boxes of self-esteem and all those other issues. Okay, so that's the reinforcement part, right? So there's another part that really tears us up. Okay, it's not just the emotions that would get us into it, because sometimes we walk in with our emotions and we're confident, all is hell. But then say you go up to people at this party and you're having a conversation and you jump in and then you start putting your 2 cents in, and now everybody's looking at you like they don't even know what you're talking about because it's not making sense. So now your logical part about you is not in tune. So then now you're going to be throwing yourself in another box. Now I'm stupid. Now they think I'm an idiot. Now that nobody understands what I'm talking about, right? You see how I'm hitting the curves, right? So this is a very sensitive game when we talk about logic, okay? Because there's a lot of stereotypes. So people would look, let's say me, oh, look at this guy kicking in his sweatpants. He's got a hat on. He's just, he doesn't look intelligent. But when I drop them bombs on your ass, you're like, what? How did you even know this stuff? That's a stereotype, right? I went to college. I did my thing. I am pretty smart, right? So we need to assess that moment. It's like assessing your own skills. So then you know when and how to jump into certain things and not. How far to take certain conversations. Beyond your own means of intelligence would be too much and you'd embarrass yourself, whatever, looking stupid, and now you're in that box. So the next time there's a situation of another group you might want to talk to, you won't, because you'll have that emotional remembrance of feeling that lack of intelligence, and then you're going to quit automatically. So that reinforcement for the logic has to be knowing where you logically stand, right? Because there is logic that plays in all of this. So you could jump into conversation that's beyond your means. Okay. You could throw in a couple dibble dabbles, dabble dibs, right? But it's going to be, you have to know when to shut your mouth and have this boundary, because you might just put your foot in your mouth because you took it too far, trying to impress another box, right? It's all, it's all about these damn boxes that we all just, we grow up with, we live with, our house is full of boxes, our house, right? So when we start breaking down these boxes, because you're not really moving anymore, right? Because that's what you need boxes for, to move, right? You get a better sense of being able to now know where all that stuff in that box needs to go. And okay, all this stuff in this box got to go in the bathroom. All this stuff in this box got to go in the living, just like your moving plans. Okay. So when you get these orders of structure, identifying the issue, right? Seeing the problem, if it's a logical or emotional issue, that's the strategy. And then having the reinforcement to see and analyze and to know where your limits are, where your boundaries are, how much you're willing to push yourself. Okay. Because another trick is if you push yourself with the confidence, not jumping in that box, well, then you just might hit a slam dunk home run. Okay. Because now an example is you could walk into a conversation and just know your boundaries on your intellect, right? Because your emotions are not involved. To throw in your 2 cents, but then just let the rest come to you from these people going to be talking to you. Okay. So then you might learn something. Okay. And now that is something that's going to go in your surplus. Okay. And we do got to have some boxes. Okay. We need some boxes because, like I said, the logical part is a box, the emotional part is a box, the strategy is a box. So we need good boxes, right? We need them in case you got to put stuff in it. So when you're going to that party and you have that second time to go another group and talk, but only minimal without thinking you're running the conversation and people are like, you don't know what you're talking about. You can just pluck a few of your knowledgeable points out into this group, including yourself in this group, and then pulling yourself back and just letting the rest of it flow, right? So then that knowledge that you're going to get because they were kind of talking off of what you were talking about now can go in another box for your surplus. So then at another party with another group, guess what? You can visualize that second conversation in that group and now have a surplus. So now instead of having to do the strategy and the analyze and everything, you go right to the surplus, take it out, and you now can include that into this next group, therefore adding more to the group. See where I'm going? Right? It's all very hard give and take because a lot of people think they're smarter than what they really are. A lot of people are way more confident than what they should be, right? And they get those ideas from the surpluses. Okay. So sometimes people come along and they'll kick that box, which is going to test to see if what you say is in your box is true, right? So, like I said, we need some boxes, right? And some boxes we need to eliminate. And so I really feel that I have always preached about the duality of things, right? You see it in my tarot, all this other stuff. And the logical part of us really, I feel is like secondary. It's kind of like we do have two supports, maybe like two or three support systems. One is our consciousness, two is our subconsciousness, right? Because you have your whole respiratory, your blood, everything that runs on autopilot. You certainly do not tell your self how to breathe. Like, okay, breathe, breathe. That's logic, and that's not going to work. So you have a separate system for that. Okay. So when you understand that, then you can understand that your logic and your emotions are separate systems. Separate systems. And it depends on which system you're riding in on the most is going to be the most influence. It's true. So then you can subconsciously be putting yourself in boxes all the time and wondering what the hell is going on with your life because you're riding in your emotions. Okay. There's a lot of people that think with their emotions, and that's okay. But, we get trapped. And then now we're so trapped because we're so used to thinking with our emotions. When it comes time to using the logic, people freeze the frig up. That's why we call it fight or flight. People in their emotions get locked up and they don't have the logic to figure out what to do next. So they get overwhelmed and they run. Some people run towards that other stuff, because they have the logic. It just snaps. It clicks over. That second system kicks over. So you're not going to get an emotional in a panic situation because you're going to start thinking logically, boom, and now it's going to be automatically kicked over. And that is that duality, my friends. That is the stuff that you need to understand that you have control over. Do I think with my logic? Do I think with my emotions? Do I just let my emotions feel, or do I have to use the logic part? And that is all part of the strategy, the analysis of understanding what is the issue, how you're going to handle it, which is the logical or emotional side, right? And then you'll be able to attack that situation in the proper way. Therefore, eliminating putting yourself in a box. So we do have to make conscious decisions on how we're going to do things. Am I going to react? If somebody's chewing your ass out at work, are you going to logically say, okay, well, he's my boss. Maybe I did mess up. So maybe I have to really just take this one for the team, right? Or can you be the emotional person and be like, why is he yelling at me? Oh my God, I'm so sensitive. Da, 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 da. And then, you're going to start firing back. Your boss is going to shit can you. See what I mean? So you do have to make a conscious decision on which way you're going to lean depending on the situation. And it's going to be a lot of situations that you have to do this to be able to be successful to overcome any boxes in your way. Right. Because there are challenges and hurdles in life that question that fine line. That fine line is this too much emotion, not enough logic? Too much logic, not enough emotion. All right. So planning a strategy that way, which is basically assessing, do I need to think logical in this moment or do I have to be just emotional? Right? That's getting that balance. And when you are knowing who you are, then you're going to understand how you operate because you know the direction that you want to go in because obviously you know yourself. So then you're going to learn these things and you're going to be able to flip that switch to either side. And that's going to play into your benefit to add more stuff to the surplus box, right? Those are your little backups. Those are your little gimmies, your little gems. It's true. So true, right? So now that's kind of basically the plan of things, okay? Is the basically your goal and your plan would be to get to the point of really um, knowing yourself, knowing what you're capable of, knowing when to throw just a certain amount of emotion or the logic and understanding that balance, and then just weaving it in and out. Right? I mean, it's really that easy just to go with that flow, to go with the flow of things, to really see, okay, do I need to approach this in this certain way? Is it worth my time? Am I being baited emotionally? There's a lot of conscious decisions that have to be made in split seconds, right? And so the more practice we get with that, the better we are. So putting yourself in situations, uncomfortable situations and things like that, I think is a good thing. It's a good learning lesson. Whether you fail, you fall on your face, whether you're a first time go. You don't know how it's going to be until you do it. Because we can just sit back in the sidelines and write all these playbooks and then not follow the playbook and then wonder why the hell we lost the game. Right? Right. So learn thyself, my friend, right? It's pretty much just sitting down and figuring out who you are, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, understanding how far you're willing to go with things and how far you're not. That's going to really put that balance of your emotions and your logic in check. So then all these other things, strategy and goals, it's just going to come so easy, right? So easy. So then now every challenge you're going to face is going to be a breeze. That's why some people can do so many things. So, I mean, multi-talented people just know how to do things and they've never done them in their friggin' life, right? True. Because they know the tool for the job, right? So remember, you need tools for your job. If you go to work with no tools, well, then how can you do your job? Okay. So assess, strategize, come to some resolutions, visualizations, and finally the goal. Those are the good steps to help you stay out of these boxes. Okay. Because the biggest one that I know people put themselves in is self-consciousness. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. But how do you really know that? Have you tested your limits? Have you pushed that button to see how far you could take it? Once you see that box, you're going to be able to know if you can or not. And if you're about a challenge, well, then you're going to push yourself. And then you're going to surprise yourself because you're going to be like, whoa, I never knew I could do that. Or I never thought I could feel that way. It's kind of like exposure therapy, my friends, in short. Okay. Some people can't stand roller coasters, right? They never maybe been on one, but they just had the fear because they watch stupid TikTok videos and see people getting thrown out of them, right? Whatever. So they're already in a box, missing out on maybe the enjoyment of the rush of that ride. So if you push yourself and you're like, I'm going to, I don't care about the TikTok videos because that's not me having that kind of assessment, emotional or logical. And you get on that roller coaster ride and you love it. Well, now you could put that in your surplus box. So, and the next time you go to an amusement park, you might be inclined to get on another ride because you're going to pull from the box of your surplus. And that's pretty much it, my friends. Just wanted to bring it short and sweet, right? Because it just pains me to know that when I do my tarot and stuff, people are so trapped in their own boxes. So then now we got codependency going on. We got people like struggling, and now they're relying on you to solve every one of their problems. And we're not doing that, right? So part of this life coaching deal for me, one of my goals is to make this box video. For one, I try to hope that you understand my, analogies and things like that. It's not really that easy to explain. But let it be a gift, my friend. Let it be a gift. Let you feel that, you know, everybody can have a peace. Everybody can overcome. There are things in this life that you do not even know that you're aware of that you're capable of, right? So challenge yourself, my friends, right? Challenge yourself not to be defeated, not to be pushed down or pushed around or bullied or, all that stuff. And when you get that logical sense that you're going to be that way, well, then now you got your armor on. Now you're going to be using those tools, my friends, to really take on the harder challenges. And it just grows and grows and grows from there. Now you become the box. Stay well, my friends. I hope this was enlightening for you. I hope you enjoyed it. And guess what? Have yourself a great rest of the week. And I will see you on the next one, my friends. Take care.